I'd ever see him again, but he'd been so charming and sexy that I wasn't angry at him. Gregory, bless his heart, did track me down in my apartment a couple days later, and he rolled me a joint. He smoked half of it with me as we sat shoulder to shoulder on my stiff orange futon. I tried to act casual, despite my fervent hope that getting high together would lead to sex. Sylvester's album, All I Need, was under the needle of my record player. I pressed my left knee and thigh against Gregory's right leg. "Got you a nice place here," he said, eyeing my apartment. "Who's the daddy paying for all this?" I misunderstood the question and answered, "My father is Ward Singleton, but my parents aren't supporting me." "Nah, I'm not talking about them." Gregory handed me the joint. "Your daddy, the man turning you out and paying your bills. What's his name?" "I probably know him." "I don't have a daddy," I said, realizing that once again, a man was assuming that I had a calling in the sex trade. "I'm not doing that. Do I look like I do that?" Gregory smirked. "Yeah, you're gay and you ain't hiding it. Hell, you advertising with them tight pants and the way you sway your ass when you walk. Plus, you got that clean, young look that chicken hawks go crazy over." "Well, I'm not into that." "Okay." Gregory pointed to the joint dangling between my fingers. "You just holding that to look pretty or what?" I put the joint to my lips and enjoyed it. The weed that Gregory had scored was sublime, a mellow ride that not only banished worries, but induced easy laughter. Gregory and I got increasingly comfortable under its influence. He put an arm around my shoulders. I draped a leg across his lap. He quizzed me about my plans in New York City, and I had to admit that I hadn't thought much beyond just arriving and finding a place to live. I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have a network of contacts to help me find my way. I didn't have a master plan. As we finished that first joint, Gregory and I found my aimless existence hilarious. I didn't know Gregory well enough yet to tell him that actually I felt quite accomplished having escaped a life in Indiana among the damned, the fallen woman, the broken men, and the godless sex perverts, public sinners, cautionary tales to the good people I grew up among. Lessons apparently lost on me because by the time I reached high school, I was considered destined to dwell on the outskirts of polite society. There were no two ways about it. I was gay and notorious. Mind you, I didn't come out as homosexual while living in Indiana. Given my mannerisms, that step wasn't necessary. I was fooling no one, and before I reached puberty, I stopped denying the playground taunts. As for my notoriety, it stemmed from a family tragedy. My younger brother, Martin, died when he was 9 years old. His death would have been harrowing enough to process had it remained a private matter. When it became a news story, my pain was amplified, and my grief was distorted. I was 11 years old. I didn't know how to handle the whirlwind. Along with the other surviving members of my immediate family, my mother, my father, and my younger sister, Jackie, I was initially the recipient of unrelenting pity and curiosity from locals who followed the story of Martin's loss. But I managed in short order to dash the sympathy that people held for me, and I seemingly confirmed to all who suspected that my homosexuality was indeed a sign of my depraved soul. Since it was already clear what my fate would be on Judgment Day, the good people of my hometown wouldn't dream of associating with me. I was a social leper. My respectable family, pillars of the bougie black community, would see to it that I didn't starve, but my days were to be lonely and squalid. I was taught there was no place on earth that would accept me, a queer marked like Cain. And that message was unrelenting. For years, I ingested so much hate in 1,000 painful ways. I prepared myself to be the subject of whispered gossip, the target of gay bashings, and the recipient of shameful sex. Only in my senior year did another path begin to emerge: New York City. No one I knew had anything good to say about the place. It was crime-ridden and drug-addled. It was the epicenter of moral decay. I set my heart on living there, and for a while, doing so felt like enough. As we puffed our way through a second joint, Gregory explained, "I'm kinda in a jam, Trey. You see, I can't crash where I've been staying because the guy's wife is coming home from the hospital, and I had a new spot lined up, but the renovations..."